Crash in the stars. Space was silent, like always. Captain Ray Hunter sat in the pilot's seat of his old cargo ship, the Voyager. He was alone, like always. Delivering fuel cells to the mining colony on Mars 9 wasn't a fun job, but it paid the bills. He leaned back, yawning. The stars outside the window didn't move. They just stared back at him, cold and far. Suddenly, the control panel beeped. Incoming distress signal. Ray sat up. He pressed a few buttons. The signal was weak, almost lost. Just a soft, repeating sound. "That's strange," he said to himself. "There's nothing out here." He checked the location. The signal was coming from the dark side of a nearby moon. No ships were listed in that area. No stations either. Should I ignore it? He asked himself. But something didn't feel right. He changed course and headed toward the signal. As he got closer, he saw it. A small pod, floating in space. It was round, silver, and clearly damaged. Smoke drifted from one side. Its power was almost gone. Ray brought his ship near. He activated the robotic arm and pulled the pod into his cargo bay. As the pod doors opened, he stepped back in shock. Inside was a girl. Not a human girl, but not fully alien either. She had pale blue skin, silver hair, and her eyes were closed. Her body was thin and graceful, and a strange light glowed softly around her. She was hurt, cuts on her arms, and something leaking from her side. What the hell? Ray rushed forward. He carried her to the med pod and started emergency healing. As the machine worked, he looked at her face. Peaceful, delicate, like she came from a dream. "Who are you?" he whispered. 2 hours passed. Finally, she opened her eyes, glowing green, sharp, yet soft. She looked around, confused. "You're safe," Ray said calmly. "My name is Ray Hunter. I found your pod. You were hurt." She sat up slowly, still weak. She spoke, but the words were strange. Not English. Not any language he knew. But then, a small device around her neck blinked. The next words he heard were translated. "I thank you for saving me," she said, her voice soft and musical. Ray blinked. "What's your name?" She looked at him for a second. "Serena." She tried to stand but fell. Ray caught her. "Easy," he said. "You're not fully healed." Serena stared at him, then at the stars outside the window. "They're coming," she whispered. "Who?" "My enemies. They found me. They want me dead." Before Ray could ask more, the ship shook violently. Warning: enemy ships approaching. Ray ran to the pilot's seat. On the screen, 3 warships appeared, dark and sharp like knives in space. "What the hell is going on?" he said. Serena walked in, her eyes serious. "They are bounty hunters. They were sent to kill me." "Why? Who are you really?" She hesitated, then lifted her sleeve. On her arm was a glowing mark, shaped like a crown. "I am the princess of a fallen empire, the last of my line." Ray stared at her, shocked. "You're royalty." "Yes, and now they want to finish what they started." The ships fired a warning shot. The Voyager shook again. "They don't look like they're here to talk," Ray said, gripping the controls. "Can we run?" "We can try." He hit the thrusters. The Voyager blasted forward. Lasers shot past them, missing by inches. Serena stood behind him, holding onto a rail. "Why did you help me?" she asked. Ray didn't take his eyes off the screen. "You looked like you needed help. That's it." She was silent for a moment. "That means the code is real." "What code?" "The Galactic Mating Code." "The what?" Just then, one of the enemy ships fired again. A blast hit near the engines. Alarms screamed. "Hold on," Ray shouted. He turned the ship sharply, diving through an asteroid field. Rocks smashed against the shields. The ship groaned. Inside, sparks flew. The lights flickered. Ray struggled to keep control. If we survive this, you're going to explain that code thing, he said. Serena didn't answer. She was staring at him with wide eyes. What? He asked. Your eyes, she said softly. They matched the legend. Before he could ask what she meant, the ship's computer shouted again. Enemy ships locked on. Prepare for boarding. Ray looked at Serena. They're not here to destroy the ship. They want you. Serena nodded. And now, they'll want you too. Ray narrowed his eyes. He wasn't a hero. He never wanted to be one. But now, he was part of something much bigger. And he had no idea what was coming next. The princess and the code. The enemy ships didn't fire again. They didn't have to. They had locked onto Ray's ship, the Voyager, and they were closing in, slow and steady like hunters surrounding a wounded animal. Inside the ship, red warning lights flashed across the control panel. Ray's hands were tight on the controls, sweat on his forehead. He had flown through asteroid storms, plasma clouds, even one skirmish during the Jupiter fuel riots. But this felt different. Behind him, Serena stood silent, not scared, just watching. They're not shooting anymore, Ray said. Because they don't want to destroy me, Serena replied. And me. You saved me. That makes you part of it now. Part of what? Serena walked to the front window, staring at the enemy ships. They were shaped like black wings, sharp and deadly. No flags, no colors, only the glowing red marks of the Void Syndicate. These are Void Hunters, she said. They don't talk. They don't take prisoners. Then why are they slowing down? Because they can't kill me. Not yet. Not after the code has been triggered. Ray turned toward her. You keep saying that. The code. What does it mean? Serena looked at him for a long moment. Then she held out her hand. Her palm glowed. Slowly, a golden symbol appeared, a spiral around a star. This is the mark of bonding, she said. When a royal is rescued from a life-death event, a very old galactic law activates. Let me guess, Ray muttered. It involves me somehow. It does. According to the code, we are now life-bonded. What does life-bonded mean? Like, married. Serena nodded. Ray blinked, laughed, then stopped laughing. You're serious. I am. In the ancient eyes of the galaxy, you are now my husband. He stared at her. The ship shook again, but softer this time, more like a warning. This is insane. I don't even know your last name. We do not have last names where I'm from. Of course you don't. He turned away, trying to think. Outside, the enemy ships circled like vultures. Can we break this bond? He asked. Not without death. Yours or mine. Great, just great. Then suddenly, silence. The warning lights stopped flashing. The ship's system reset. Everything went calm. Too calm. Ray tapped the scanner. They're gone. No, Serena said. They're watching. And waiting. For what? Serena hesitated. For us to make a move. To land somewhere. To separate. To show weakness. Ray stood up. I need air. He walked into the hallway. Lights flickered above him. He stopped by the viewport and looked out. Black space. Stars. Nothing else. And then he saw it. Something small, too small to be a ship, floating near the Voyager. A drone. It was attached to the hull. Blinking red. A tracker. Ray ran back to the cockpit. They planted something on the ship. Serena's eyes widened. A galactic tracker. They know our every move now. Can we remove it? Not safely. If we try to pull it off, it might explode. Ray stared at her. So what do we do? We land, Serena said. I know a place. Land? With a bomb on us and bounty hunters watching. I know what I'm doing. Follow my lead. She entered coordinates into the nav system. Where are we going? To a moon station, hidden deep in the shadow zone. It belonged to my family, before the fall. Ray nodded, though every bone in his body told him this was a mistake. But he had no better ideas, and some part of him trusted her. 2 hours later, the Voyager descended through thick blue clouds and landed in a hidden docking bay under the surface of a dead moon. Old, broken machines surrounded them. The lights still worked, but just barely. A soft hum echoed through the metal walls. Serena stepped out first. Her body moved like she knew this place. "This used to be my family's science station," she said, long before the war. Ray followed her inside. Walls covered in alien symbols, dusty tech, an old hologram projector. She touched a console. Lights sparked on. A faint humming began. And then the hologram turned on. A man appeared, tall, strong, wearing a royal suit. He had Ray's face, but older, colder. "What the hell is that?" Ray whispered. Serena stared at the hologram. "That is the first one. The original." "Original what?" She turned to Ray, slowly. "The code isn't just about bonding," she said. "It's about choosing." "Choosing what?" "Choosing the right copy." Ray stepped back. "Copy? I'm a clone." Serena didn't answer. Not yet. Instead, the hologram began to speak, in Ray's voice. "If you are watching this, then one of the clones has triggered the code. Good. The test begins now." Hunted by the galaxy, the moon station was quiet. Too quiet. Dust floated in the air. Old machines buzzed. Broken screens flickered with forgotten messages. Ray followed Serena down the long metal hallway, his mind racing. A clone. That's what she said. But he didn't feel like one. He didn't remember being grown in a lab. He remembered his childhood. Or did he? He looked at his hands. They looked real. They felt real. "You're quiet," Serena said, not turning around. "I just found out I might be a copy of someone else," Ray replied. "How do you want me to react?" "Throw a party." She finally stopped and faced him. "You're more than a copy, Ray. You're one of the last clone units created by the Royal Defense Project. We built them to protect the princess in case of total war. So I was built for you." She nodded, but something went wrong. The project was shut down. Most of the clones were destroyed. And me. You escaped, or were stolen. Your memories were wiped and replaced with a normal life. "And the others?" Ray asked. Serena looked away. "There's one more. The original. He wasn't destroyed. He went rogue. And now, he's hunting us too." Ray's heart skipped. "Great. So not only are bounty hunters after me, but my better, faster, meaner twin is also out there." "He's not better," Serena said softly. "He's broken." Meanwhile, deep in space, a dark ship floated through empty space. Inside it, a man sat in silence. Same face as Ray, but older, colder, sharper. Unit 0. The first clone. He watched the footage from the moon station. He saw Ray. He saw Serena. He clenched his fists. "So they activated the code," he whispered. "That means the trial has begun." He stood up and walked to the center of the ship. Strange machines glowed. Hundreds of metal pods opened, each one holding a bounty hunter, ready for release. He pressed a button. Track him. Test him. Break him. The hunters moved out like shadows. Back on the moon station, Ray and Serena entered a locked chamber. Inside was something glowing. A suit not like anything Ray had ever seen. Floating in a glass case, silver and black, covered in alien writing. It looked alive. "This was made for the chosen unit," Serena said. "It responds to DNA. Only one of you can wear it." Ray stepped closer. The suit lit up. The glass slid open. "Try it," Serena whispered. Ray hesitated. "What if it burns me alive?" "Then you're not the one." Comforting. He slowly stepped into the suit. Nothing happened at first. Then, a pulse. Light ran across the armor. It wrapped around his body like liquid metal. His vision sharpened. His heartbeat synced with the machine. The suit fit perfectly. "You are the one," Serena said. "The suit chose you." Ray barely had time to feel amazed. Suddenly, a loud alarm echoed through the station. "Intruder detected." "They found us," Ray shouted. Serena ran to the control panel. They broke through the scanner shields. "We have 2 minutes." Ray looked at her. "Do we fight or run?" "We run. But first, we leave them a gift." She typed something quickly. A countdown began on the screen. 01:59. Self-destruct. Ray asked. "They want the tech. They get dust instead." They ran. The hallway trembled. Metal groaned. As they reached the ship, one of the bounty hunters dropped from the ceiling. Black armor, no face. 2 energy blades in hand. Ray didn't think. His new suit moved on its own. The armor shifted, creating a shield on his arm. The hunter struck. Ray blocked. Sparks flew. Ray punched. The suit amplified his strength. The hunter flew back, crashing into the wall. "We need to go," Serena shouted. They jumped into the Voyager. Ray took the controls. "Hold on." The engines roared. They lifted off just as the station exploded behind them, blue fire rising into the sky. Later, drifting in quiet space, Serena sat across from Ray. She looked tired. So did he. "They'll keep coming," she said, "until one of you dies." "Me or Unit 0, Ray said. "The original me." Serena nodded. "What happens if he catches us?" "He won't kill you," she said slowly. "He'll try to take your place. Complete the bond. Become king." "But he's not the chosen one," Ray said. Serena stared at him. "You still don't understand, do you?" she said. "What?" She leaned closer. "The bond. It's not just about saving me. It's about proving yourself. The code only activates when the clone shows real emotion. Love. Sacrifice. Honor. And I did that." "Yes. And that's what makes you dangerous." Ray looked out the window. The stars didn't seem peaceful anymore. They felt like eyes. Watching. Waiting. He wasn't just a cargo pilot now. He was a husband to a royal princess, a weapon from an ancient project, and the most hunted man in the galaxy. The memory hacker. Space was quiet again. Too quiet. Too peaceful for a man who had just escaped a moon explosion, survived a bounty hunter ambush, and learned that he was possibly a cloned husband to an alien princess. Ray Hunter couldn't sleep, not because of the stars, not even because of the bounty hunters, but because of the dreams. The same one, every night since they escaped. He saw himself standing on a battlefield. But he wasn't alone. He stood across from another version of himself, same face, same voice, but full of anger, full of control. Then, a voice behind him would always whisper, "You are not the first." And then he'd wake up. A cold awakening. Today, Ray didn't wake up in bed. He opened his eyes, on the floor. His head throbbed. The ship lights were dim. And worse, he was alone. "Serena." He called out. No answer. He tried to stand. The moment he moved, his body froze. Something was wrong. The walls around him looked different. The ship wasn't flying through space anymore. It was docked. He stumbled to the control room. All systems were offline. Logs erased. Someone had shut them down manually. Then he saw it, etched into the screen in alien code, but translated in small, shaking letters below. "Your memories are not yours. A mysterious visitor." Suddenly, a faint knock echoed from the airlock. He grabbed a small blaster from the emergency box, slowly opened the hatch. A humanoid figure stood outside. Half machine, half organic, face covered with a silver mask, glowing lines running through its arms. "Who are you?" Ray asked. "I am called Index," the figure said. Its voice was neither male nor female. "I am a memory architect. Your mind has been rewritten. I came to help you remember." "Remember what?" "The truth of who you were before the code." Index placed a small device on Ray's temple. Ray tried to step back, but it was too late. His vision flashed white. Inside the mind. He was inside a memory, but not one he recalled making. He stood in a glowing white room. Test tubes, doctors, scientists, and children. They all looked like him. Rows and rows of young clones. One scientist pointed. "That one," she said. "Unit 97. Keep that one alive. He shows emotional variance." That was Ray. But he didn't feel anything in the memory. He couldn't move. He was just watching. "We gave you a backstory," Index's voice echoed inside the memory. "We created false pain, fake dreams, fake parents, fake purpose. But inside you, something real grew. That's why the code responded." Suddenly, the scene changed. A woman's voice called his name. "Ray." He turned. It wasn't Serena. It was another woman. Human. Her face was blurry. Her voice soft. "They wiped me from you," she said. "But you loved me once. Before the bond. Before the war." Ray tried to reach out, but everything collapsed into white static. Back in reality. He gasped awake, falling back into the ship's hallway. Index was gone. The memory device broken beside him, like it had self-destructed. His hands shook. "What the hell was that?" he whispered. Was it real? Was any of it real? Had he loved someone before Serena? Serena returns. The door opened. Serena entered, holding supplies. She stopped when she saw him on the floor. "What happened?" she asked. "Where were you?" "I left to get supplies from the nearby station. You were sleeping." "No," Ray said. "Someone came. A machine person. Showed me memories. Memories I never had." Serena froze. "You saw her, didn't you?" "Who?" "The other woman. The one they tried to delete from your mind." Ray stared at her. "You knew." Serena nodded slowly. "She was a test subject, like you. They bonded her to you first. It didn't work. Her mind broke. She vanished into the system." "So what am I?" Ray whispered. "A second try." "No," she said. "You're not a second try. You're the final attempt. The one who chose kindness over programming. The one who saved a stranger in space without orders." "But if I loved someone before, what does that make us?" Serena didn't answer. Instead, a loud ping echoed from the control console. An alert. Ray stepped forward, checking the signal. "No way," he muttered. A ship was approaching. Not a void hunter, not enemy military. A royal rescue ship. Serena looked shocked. "That's impossible. The royal fleet was destroyed." "Then why are they calling you?" "Queen Serena." She stepped back. "They think the bonding code was completed, that you're my chosen consort." "Am I?" Ray asked quietly. Serena didn't answer right away. But she looked at him, not with power or fear or command, but with something that looked very close to love. The royal ship docked beside them. Guards waited outside, bowing. But behind their leader stood another figure, face hidden in a silver mask. Not Unit 0. Not Index. Someone new. Someone who knew both of their secrets. And who had just whispered, under their breath, "He's not the only one with rewritten memories." The clone wore truth. The royal rescue ship floated beside Ray's vessel, calm on the outside. But inside, secrets were waking. Ray stood near the airlock, staring at the glowing seal that connected the two ships. Serena was silent beside him. Her fingers trembled, but not from fear. From memory. "They think you completed the bond," Ray said softly. "They think you're their queen now." Serena nodded, eyes heavy. "Because the bond only activates once in a lifetime, and it chose you. Before Ray could respond, the door opened with a hiss. A line of royal guards stepped in, tall, glowing armor, eyes hidden behind silver visors. They dropped to one knee. "Your Highness," the lead one said, voice cold. Serena didn't speak. She didn't bow. She simply stared at the last person who entered. A man. Tall. Perfect posture. No emotion in his face. Same eyes as Ray. Same jawline. Same voice. Unit 0. The first clone. Ray felt the air go cold. Unit 0 walked toward him like a mirror. Slow, calculated, not a single extra movement. "So," 0 said, tilting his head, "this is the one who triggered the code." His voice was smooth, too smooth. No emotion, no doubt, just precision. Ray didn't move. "You've been watching me. Since the day you were activated," 0 said. "You were meant to stay hidden, silent, a final option. And you. I was the weapon they needed, until they feared me." Serena stepped forward. "0, this is not the time." "It's exactly the time," 0 said. "You bonded with him. A sleeper clone. An emotional one. You picked a heart instead of a sword." Ray narrowed his eyes. "And what are you?" 0 smiled. "I am the sword. The truth of the project." The guards took positions as the royal leader stepped in. She was old, her skin glowing faintly blue like Serena's, eyes sharp and ancient. "This changes everything," she said, looking at Ray. "2 surviving clones. 1 bonded, 1 perfect." Serena spoke quietly. "We need to tell him the truth." Ray looked from her to the leader. "What truth?" The leader walked to a control panel, touched a symbol. A hologram lit up, stars, galaxies, and in the center, a spinning DNA helix. "You were part of Project Monarch," the leader said. "A plan to create a protector strong enough to defend the royal line, and clever enough to lead it. But we failed," Serena added. "The clones fought. Some turned mad. Others were erased." The hologram shifted, hundreds of clone images, all versions of Ray, all different, most marked terminated. "You and 0 were the last," she said. "2 paths, emotion or control." "So this was all a test?" Ray asked, voice low. "Yes," said 0. "And you passed the first part. You bonded. But now, you must choose." The choice. 0 stepped forward, standing just inches from Ray. "Join me," he said. "You have the code, the suit, the bond. But I have the strategy, the army, the knowledge. You want to share power. I want to complete the mission, restore the throne, and rule. Together." Ray looked at Serena. "Is this what you wanted?" he asked her. She looked back, eyes full of conflict. "I wanted to survive," she said. "But now, I want more." "What does that mean?" "I want freedom. Not to be a queen locked in a code. Not to be a prize. Not to be ruled by war or by law. I want to choose who I trust." 0 frowned. "Emotions make you weak," he said. "They cloud judgment." Ray stepped back. "Or maybe, they're what makes me stronger than you." Attack from within. Just as tension peaked, alarms blared across both ships. Red alert. The wall screen flickered. Multiple ships approaching fast. Not bounty hunters. Not royal fleets. Something new. Black ships with green pulse engines, glowing skull symbols on the wings. Serena turned pale. "No, that can't be." "What is it?" Ray asked. "The signalers. They were myth. Ghost ships. Ancient AI weapons that escaped control during the galactic fall." 0 clenched his fists. "They came for the code," he said. "They want you." Ray turned to the others. "Then let them come, but we fight them together." Serena grabbed his hand. "You're sure?" "No," Ray said, "but it's better than running." As the first signaler ship broke into their orbit, The lights across both ships went dark. A voice echoed through the halls. Not human. Not machine. Something older. The bond is broken. The trial is failed. The rogue must be deleted. Ray looked around. Who are they talking about? He asked. Then he looked at Serena and saw it, her hand glowing with two symbols. Not one. Two bonds. Hers with Ray and hers with Zero. This wasn't supposed to happen, she whispered. The Empire's last hope. The galaxy didn't sleep anymore. Not since the signalers returned. Their ships moved like shadows through star systems, ancient AI war tech long believed to be lost. Now they were waking, and they were hunting. Hunting Ray, the bonded clone. Hunting Serena, the last royal. And hunting Zero, the original, the perfect clone who refused to die. Fractured bonds. Inside the royal cruiser, Ray stood frozen, his eyes locked on Serena's glowing hands. Two symbols, two bonds. One was his, the other, Zero's. How is this possible? Ray whispered. It wasn't supposed to happen. Serena muttered. I didn't know. You didn't know you were bound to both of us. His voice cracked. The code chose you, she said. But long ago, the Empire forced a trial bond with Zero, when I was young, before I even knew what love was. Zero stood silent, watching everything. You kept it from me, Ray said. Serena looked up, eyes full of regret. I thought it was broken, erased. But the signalers awakened it. They read every code. So now I'm... What? Ray asked. Just one half of a system glitch. No, she shouted. You're the only one who chose me. But the words didn't fix the crack in his heart. Outside, the signalers had fully surrounded the cruiser. And inside, trust had broken. The warning. A screen lit up. The signaler's message played again. Two bonds detected. Trial void. Terminate both vessels. Retrieve the code. Ray grabbed the console. We need to move, now. But before anyone reacted, Zero vanished. Teleported using his private escape protocol. Ray cursed. Of course he ran. That's what he does. No, Serena said, eyes narrowing. He didn't run. He's going to them. To the signalers. He wants to make a deal. A ghost army returns. Minutes later, Ray and Serena jumped to hyperspeed using an old escape path hidden in the cruiser's memory. They landed on an abandoned planet, Tornara. It was dead, silent, ruins from a forgotten empire long ago. But as their ship touched down, lights turned on underground. Serena smiled. This was one of my father's last commands, she said. A backup plan, buried deep. They followed the light into a massive hidden vault. And what they found left Ray speechless. Ships, thousands. Tanks, armor suits, weapons. Sleeping soldiers in cryopods. These are the last royal loyalists, she whispered. They've been in deep sleep for decades, waiting for the code to awaken them. Ray stared at them. You're saying they'll follow me? Serena touched the glowing bond symbol on his hand. Yes, because you didn't just trigger the code, you completed it. The resistance awakens as Serena activated the vault. Alarms rang across the complex. The sleeping army stirred. Lights blinked green. Engines powered up. Ray stood at the center as they all turned to him. Then a voice echoed from the control panel. Commander identified. Clone Unit 97. Bonded royal match confirmed. Welcome, General. He laughed nervously. Me, General? I used to deliver fuel to mining colonies. Serena walked up beside him. And now you might be the only one who can save the galaxy. Betrayal burns again. A loud crack echoed across the cave. One of the loyalists dropped dead, his armor melting from inside. Then another. The hacking signal spread through the room. Signalers virus. They were trying to corrupt the army. Ray grabbed a comlink. Who let them in? On the screen appeared Zero, but his face was different now. Cold, pale, eyes glowing green. They got to him. Zero was no longer just a clone. He was now part of the signaler core. I offered peace, Zero said, but they offered perfection. You sold your soul, Ray spat. I upgraded it. Then he looked at Serena. He can't protect you. Not from what's coming. Surrender now, and I'll spare his mind. Ray stepped forward. Come and try. Preparing for war. The army was stabilizing, but some units had already fallen. The virus had burned through parts of their tech. Ray ordered all systems offline, manual control only. If they can hack it, he said, we don't use it. Serena nodded. Old ways. New war. They began training, day and night. Ray pushed himself to the edge, learning every system, every strategy. Not because he wanted to fight, but because he couldn't let her down again. The Queen speaks. On the eve of battle, Serena stood before the troops. You were made to sleep forever, she said, but we woke you. Because darkness has returned. Not just enemies, but shadows from our own mistakes. She looked at Ray. This man, this clone, was not born to rule. He was born to serve, but he chose to protect. He chose me. And now, we choose him. The army raised their hands. A chant began. For the bond. For the code. For the Queen. Deep in space, Zero watched through dark screens. His body was now more machine than man. Beside him stood 3 signaler warlords, each one ancient, each one a master of mind corruption. He thinks this is a love story, one of them hissed. He thinks he can change fate, another whispered. Zero raised his hand. His finger pointed toward Tornara. Burn it all. The war had begun. Husband, hero, warrior. The stars didn't shine on this part of the galaxy anymore. Only fire. The signaler fleet had arrived. Hundreds of warships hovered above Tornara, casting shadows over the planet like a storm ready to fall. The sky was broken, silent, waiting for war to begin. Below, in the lost royal vault, Ray Hunter stood in black battle armor, his glowing symbol pulsing at the center of his chest. The bond. He stared at the enemy from the control tower, his reflection split across the glass. He no longer looked like a cargo pilot. He looked like a soldier, maybe even a king. Behind him, the royal army stood ready. But inside his heart, one thought kept rising. Am I enough? Zero's message. A transmission came through. Unit 0 appeared on every screen across Tornara. But he wasn't just Zero anymore. He was part signaler now. Half machine, eyes burning green, voice hollow and twisted. Citizens of the fallen empire, your protector is a broken copy. An accident, a soft-hearted fool. I was the first. I was the strongest. And I am your true code. You have 1 hour to surrender, or burn. Serena stood beside Ray, quiet but fierce. He won't wait the full hour, she whispered. Ray nodded. Then we hit first. The plan. Ray walked into the war room. His commanders, engineers, and royal tacticians waited. We can't outgun them, he said, but we can outsmart them. He pointed to a map of Tornara's underground tunnels. We'll draw them into the canyon, force them down into the maze, split their forces. Then we cut them off from inside. It's suicide, one general said. Ray looked him in the eyes. No, it's sacrifice. Serena stepped forward, and I'm going with him. Everyone went silent. Ray didn't stop her. This is our bond, he said. We face it together. Battle begins. Explosions lit the sky like thunder. The signalers dropped from their ships like machines from a nightmare. Tall, sharp, covered in black metal with green light dripping from their limbs. Ray led the charge. His armor responded to his every movement. His thoughts became commands. His fear became fuel. Lasers ripped across the battlefield. Soldiers screamed. Rocks shattered. Inside the canyon, signalers rushed in, just as planned. And then Ray triggered the lock. Boom! A wall of fire split the ground, trapping the first wave inside the maze. The confrontation. But Zero wasn't among them. He came from above, alone, crashing into the canyon like a meteor. Ray turned just in time as Zero stepped through the smoke. Same face, same armor, different soul. "You're too late," Zero said. This was never about the throne. It was about the reset. The signalers will purge the galaxy of all broken code. That includes you and her. Ray raised his weapon. "You used to be me." Zero smirked. "No, you were a discarded version of me." "Maybe," Ray said, "but I learned something you never did." "What's that?" Ray's eyes burned with light. "How to feel." Final duel. The two clones clashed, not just in body, but in belief. Blades met. Fists collided. Minds connected through their shared code, showing flashes of every memory, every difference. Zero fought like a machine. Calculated. Cold. Perfect. Ray fought like a human. Wild. Emotional. Real. They destroyed the ground around them. Even the air shimmered from their power. But then, Zero made a mistake. He reached for Serena. Ray saw red. He roared, something ancient rising in him. Something not just clone. Something more. He struck. Zero stumbled. His chest cracked. "How?" Zero whispered. "How are you stronger?" Ray stepped closer. "Because she never chose perfection," he said. "She chose me." The cost. As Zero fell, his body flickered. Not with light, with energy. Unstable. He had been connected directly to the signaler core. Now that he was broken, the entire fleet above began to overload. Serena ran to Ray. "The core's collapsing. The signalers will go down with it, but the explosion will wipe us all out." Ray looked up at the sky. It was glowing green now. "There's one way," he said. "I can take the blast. The armor will absorb it, if I stay outside the vault." "No," Serena whispered. "You said you wanted to choose." "I did," she cried. "And I chose you." He smiled softly. "Then trust me one last time." Heroes stand. Ray walked out into the open as the sky cracked with thunder. The signaler core sent a final pulse. Green fire rained down. He stood still, arms wide, armor glowing, bond burning bright. The explosion hit. Everything turned white. Aftermath. Days passed. Serena woke in the vault. The army had survived. The planet lived. But Ray, his body was never found. Only his armor. But the bond symbol on her hand still glowed, alive. Far across the galaxy, on a peaceful green world, a man walked alone. He looked like Ray, but older, wiser, quiet. He carried no weapons, only a small glowing mark on his hand. A child ran up to him. "Mister, are you a soldier?" He smiled. "Not anymore." And far in the sky, the stars blinked, as if they remembered him.